Hey guys, welcome to Ready Up episode number 20. My name is Joshua Davis, aka Papa Groucherino the Third Esquire. Today I'm joined by gameplay programmer Branden G. How's it going, sir?
Doing pretty well yourself.
Not too bad. Can't complain.
Rock on.
So today we'll be joined by, we've got Mr. John Blue Mullen joining us, one of our authorized showcasters. He's going to be talking about Tournament of Legends 2, Tournament of Glory, the Gamescom All-Stars Tournament, and then later on, me and Branden will be talking about the standard models feature that Branden worked on, which is pretty awesome. We'll be showing off how that works. And then towards the very end of the show, we'll be talking, actually we'll have a video from Mr. Karl McLean showing off all of the changes to Elementalist and Mesmer for the feature pack.
Yeah, pretty excited.
Yes, as am I. So I think we're going to bring in Blue here and recap some of the events that have happened recently, and then we'll go from there. Boom.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for coming on the show today, sir.
Nice, indeed. It is good to be here. So I guess we're going to be talking a little bit about Gamescom as well as TOL, correct?
Yes. That's
so
true.
Indeed. Let's start right off with Gamescom, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, so big news coming out of Gamescom was that we bought Blue his first beer in a bar. Legally. Because we were in Germany. So that was a pretty... I've got a picture of him. It's pretty cool.
Buying minors alcohol.
Indeed, it was fun.
He's not a minor.
Oh.
Blue, can you please confirm your age for us, please?
I'm 19 years old.
Boom. There you go.
Okay.
He's completely legal.
Indeed. So
yeah, anyways, Gamescom. So we had the International All-Stars Tournament, right? So we had 3 teams. We had a team from North America, a team from Europe, and a team from China. The North American team and the European team were voted in by the community. So you guys out there helped pick those players for us. And yeah, so and the community actually funded your trip to Gamescom, right?
yes, they did. It was really awesome. We raised over $2,700 for my trip. So again, to anybody that was able to help out with that, thanks you guys. Like I said, wouldn't have been able to go there without your help. That was a really awesome experience, and like I said, I'm really appreciative of that.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Gamescom?
So Gamescom was fun.
Things.
Getting in was a little bit hectic. I had some issues with the train, but other than that, I got in all right. And then we got there, like I said, I got to meet up with everyone, the NA All-Stars, the U All-Stars. I got to meet up with you guys. The tournament itself was really awesome. There was actually, like I said, I talked a little bit about this on my stream a few days ago too, but the crowd at the Twitch booth itself during the event was actually surprisingly big, to be completely honest. I wasn't expecting that many people to show up, so that was really cool to kind of have that whole community, the community outcome there as well. So it was really, overall, just an awesome event. Everybody was really cool. The games were pretty good as well. And yeah, overall, just a really cool event.
Are you surprised by the results at all?
Not really. I think a lot of people kind of expected that to be the outcome. So, yeah, not really. Not too surprised to see EU win.
Yeah. To recap the results, European team won the 6-0, so perfect record.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's surprising.
It's big news, and it's a shocker.
I'm
glad you're sitting down.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad you're sitting down.
Fallen over would have been.
NA team went 3-3, and then the Chinese team had a bit of a rough time. They went 0-6, but they started doing really well towards the end of the tournament, especially when they were playing against the NA team. Some good stuff. We're looking forward to see the Chinese teams grow as time goes on.
There was definitely, from what I was seeing anyway in those games, there definitely seemed to be a decent amount of promise. The Chinese Thief specifically was actually really good with his ability to go for back caps and things like that. So really looking forward to seeing players like that grow over the next few months as we get closer to WTS.
Yeah, and we'll talk a bit more about that later on in the show. Just kind of recap some of the things we've been talking about. As it is feature pack reveal time, so feature pack 2 has been announced, and we're slowly rolling out the things that will be included inside the feature pack. We've already announced a good portion of what's going in for PvP and Roleplay World, and then we've got some other stuff that will be coming out over the next couple weeks as we lead up to the actual feature pack. So yeah, so we have an event this weekend, Blue. What's going on?
TL2 finals, I believe, are going on this weekend. We have EU on Saturday.
Are you sure? You said you believe. Are you positive, or?
I'm pretty sure. I'm about 99% sure.
Okay, and you'll be hosting that, right?
Yes, I will be hosting it with Jebro on Saturday and with Syrif on Sunday.
Sounds good.
Indeed.
How's the tournament been for you so far?
So far, it's been pretty good. Like I said, the format was a little bit weird, but there was a couple kinks to work out. But overall, it's been fairly decent, and I'm fairly happy with the teams that ended up getting into the qualifiers. North America and Europe should both be pretty good matchups to see those finals actually going on this weekend. So you guys should definitely be checking that out as it goes on this weekend.
Might just do that. We'll see.
You should.
Yeah.
I was trying to I was trying to make you
I
feel
know.
like you should do
I
it.
feel like I should.
I'm glad that I'm glad that worked.
Just play the game instead. We'll see what happens.
I'm glad that worked.
Yeah.
So another big news, I guess, coming out of this is today we just announced the Term of Glory signups, which you'll be helping run as well, right?
Yep.
You want to talk a bit about your involvement with that and what people can look forward to?
Yeah, indeed. So, like you said, we'll be hosting, Misspedia specifically will be hosting the European portion of that. So, format-wise, TOG is going to be very similar to TOL. We have made some adjustments to the sign-up process to hopefully kind of ease it when compared to TOL 2. So, with that said, again, we're going to be having teams pick kind of a weekend instead of actually, picking just one of the 4 qualifiers, which should help out with the bracket balancing and things like that. And as well, we're making sure as well that, because I know we had some issues with seeding from the last TOL, so we've already started to adjusting that. Misspedia announced a few days ago that we now have an ELO system, and we're going to be using that to seed all the qualifiers and the grand finals for TOG as well. So there will be no bias, there will be no any issues with anything like that. It'll be completely fair.
Cool. And so we'll also have DPS, Digital Professional Sports. We'll actually be handling the NA side of the tournament. So Miss PD will be doing EU, kind of doing your own thing, and then we'll have DPS doing the other side of it. So it should be pretty cool because I think you guys run tournaments in different ways. And DPS is sort of newer, but they've brought a lot of improvements. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, indeed. Should be good.
And then, Term of Glory is a standalone tournament, so if you are interested in playing, you can sign up right now. We've got some cool exclusive armor that you can win that only people who win this tournament or other PvP events can actually earn. So the entire event is standalone. So if you have no, higher aspirations than, maybe getting a llama mini or whatever, that's totally cool. But if you have... if you feel really competitive and you want to take it to the next level, this tournament does qualify you for the World Tournament Series. If you're not familiar with what that is, there is a blog post up from last Wednesday, I believe. The short version of this is that we have 3, I guess you'd call them LAN events over the next year, and each one of these LAN events will have a $50,000 prize pool. And you can qualify for the first one, which will take place in China in December, by playing in the Term of Glory. So, pretty exciting stuff. Really looking forward to having a substantial prize pool,
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely look forward to seeing what happens there. So, I think this is the added incentive. People start, practicing more now that there's actual stuff on the line. I'm already seeing a ton of people coming back that, have been waiting for tournaments like this. It's been nice seeing my friends list full of people that I, used to play with constantly back in the day.
Yeah, some people are even practicing now, which is pretty cool.
Yes, probably as we speak.
Yeah, bet you it's happening.
Right.
Already been seeing some new rosters form, so should be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, so Term of Glory signups opened this morning. We've extended the close date on those until September 5th. We wanted to make sure that anyone who hasn't seen their balance preview yet, so today we're doing Elementalist and Mesmer, right? And then next week we'll be doing the last 2 professions. We want to make sure that anyone who's kind of unsure where their class is going to land after this will have ample time to make adjustments to their rosters and make sure they're going into the tournament fully armed with all the information they need, right? And we've made an adjustment for Term of Glory. If you need a roster change, you can do it up to 24 hours before your team first plays. And you can sort that out with Mr. Blue here and the DPS guys.
Indeed. Should be a little bit easier this time around for people to try and make roster changes. I know for TL2 it was a little bit difficult to try and get those done because you had to kind of bounce back and forth with me through email. But at least on Misspedia's end, I know we've kind of have our own form for it now. I don't exactly know how DPS is doing, but I think they're doing a pretty similar procedure for their roster changes too. So overall it should be a lot easier for players to change out their rosters this time.
And worst case scenario, they can send you an email, right?
Yep, they can always contact me. Again, my email is john@mispedia.net.
All right, sounds good. All right, so again, if you want to learn more about Tournament of Glory or World Tournament Series or really anything that's coming out in the feature pack, make sure to check out guildwars2.com. And again, this weekend, it'll be starting at 12 p.m. Pacific time on both Saturday and Sunday. And who plays first, Blue?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think we're going to be showing on both qualifiers. We'll be having the 4th and 5th seeds play each other. I know for NA, we're going to be seeing Archangels and Outplayed by Children will be playing each other on stream. But I don't exactly remember the matchups we'll be seeing by team name beyond that. However, I know for a fact we'll have 4th and 5th seeds play each other on stream. And then we'll obviously move into the semifinals from that, though. All
right, and to catch the tournament, it won't be on Blue's channel. It'll actually be on twitch.tv/guildwars2 for both days. So make sure to check out the tournament there. But anyways, thanks, Blue, for coming on.
No problem.
We greatly appreciate everything you do for us, and the community does as well. And so I think me and Branden here are going to jump into a little bit of a match and show off the new standard models feature.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so kind of start this off. We're gonna jump in here to courtyard.
I should probably join a team.
Should probably do that. I should too. Just want to start kind of talking about what standard models are. In case you haven't read the blog post yet, it's a new feature exclusively to PvP in team arena matches and custom arenas with tournament commands enabled. That essentially lets you see your enemies as a standard model. This new setting here in your options menu under the competitive tab. You'll see team colors here is where it always has been, and now I think all standard models enable that, and it's going to change things.
So what was it trying to solve?
So we've seen complaints and discussion on the forums in the past on Azura's being short, other things like effect spam, other issues with reading animations and being able to tell what the other team was doing in a way to anticipate and do something to try to counter their attacks.
Yeah, so like Asuras, for example, if he's running, like, say it's a Hambo Warrior, right? Earthshaker is a pretty telegraphed animation, but because the Asura is so small, it can be very hard to react to it in time, right?
For sure.
So mostly looking to address those concerns, especially at the top end of play, where players can actually read the animations and they see what's going on, being able to properly, counter or react to skills being used.
Exactly. So we start looking at this and how to solve it. Our first kind of idea was, let's just make Azura bigger, let's make Char smaller, let's make Morn smaller, make everyone kind of human height. Unfortunately, we realized when we did that, animations actually kind of broke down. You can kind of think of it how if you have like a small picture and you try to scale it up, you get a kind of like a lot of grainy pixelatedness to it. That same kind of happens with animations as well. So it actually ended up causing even more difficulty reading those animations. So we ended up kind of with something like this, where
So they see. Let me dance around here. So you guys see, I've got my char here. I've got the Dreamer here shooting unicorn rainbows.
this is really obnoxious. We're going to just go ahead and disable that on him. And oh man, look at that. He's a human with a normal sword. Although I still look awesome.
You'd still look awesome, yes. So with the feature, not only does it change your race, but also hides your weapon, right? So if you have a legendary, you'll no longer see the custom animations that all weapons have. So for example, the example I like to always use is Necromancer. When they have Incinerator equipped and they're using Dagger offhand, it would make Deathly Swarm instead of like the unique animation that it had before, which was like this like a bunch of bugs flying at you, like
Right,
a Deathly Swarm, you might say.
It's a huge tell.
Yes.
What's about to hit you.
It would turn it into a very standard animation where you'd kind of throw like a fiery dagger.
Right.
It looked a lot different, and that same animation was used on a couple different skills for a couple different professions. So now, if you were to use that skill, you would actually see the way it was intended to be displayed.
Correct. The actual, this also standardizes your back pieces. You'll notice, I don't know if you had a back piece on.
I don't have a back piece on.
You're killing me here.
I will scramble to get one together for you.
So while he does that, so standard back pieces go away, which is another kind of unfortunate thing. We're really concerned about taking away your individuality as a player. So it's a kind of big part of Guild Wars is the visual aesthetic of your character. So fortunately, there were some threads on the forums started addressing other solutions for standard models. So it was nice while we were working on this. While we couldn't directly say that we were working on this, there was some discussion that was happening. We were able to get involved with players to help kind of drive this development towards our final product. Now, since you've got a...
Well, so I'm still struggling to get my thing together here.
Oh.
So I think I'm going to have to leave the match, and I'll be right back.
Well, regardless.
So you just keep talking,
No, you can
and
just
I'm going to
go.
go take care of my deal here.
Yeah. Kind of part of this is we spend a lot of time with the art team trying to figure out essentially, what does a warrior look like? What does an NG look like? How do we make sure that each profession has a different, distinct silhouette, as well as armor that immediately lets you know that is that profession. On top of that, we also made sure to color them. There is an option currently in the game which allows you to color either only your enemies or all characters to a red-blue standard. We wanted to ensure that that setting carries over to the standard models. So you will notice as you're playing, your enemy team, when standardized, will appear as the correct color.
So, how many different, we call it composites?
Composites, yes.
How many different composites are there?
Let's see. There are 8 professions, there are 2 genders, and there are 2 teams. So we're looking at about 32 composites that were built for this. Another thing was we wanted to also maintain gender as part of this. We didn't really want to have to sit down and like argue over, okay, well, are warriors female or male? Like,
Right.
and just kind of another thing.
And it helps you retain some of like your identity on your character,
Exactly.
right? All right, so I'm gonna jump back in here, and I'll change my race a couple times, I guess, so people can see as well.
Oh, yeah,
like,
gotcha.
So I've got my sweet back piece here now, I believe. Wait, nope, I need to make it a thing. It's my first day. I'm sorry. There we go. I've got a thing now. Do you see me?
Yeah, I see.
We go back in
Alright.
game, Mark.
So we're gonna.
There we go.
Cool. All right, so we got him here. This is big char. He's got this big back piece taking my screen. I know what's going on. Gonna enable this. Wait, hang on. Oh, right, that makes sense. Apologize.
don't apologize.
Write that one down.
You gonna take a little note there?
Yeah, take a little
okay.
note here.
Looks good.
Look at that. Fortunately, it's not 9/9 yet, so
Don't worry, we have time. So, jump back in the game here. You're gonna run over to me and show
Yeah,
off
we'll
the.
just-
So what's the intent? The back piece should be hidden. Or it
yeah,
should
the
be
back piece
visible.
should be hidden. Oh dear, what did I do? There we go.
You're trying to use the dev commands, and you're having a
I'm
hard
trying
time
to
here.
use commands.
There you go.
There we go. All right. All right. So we got you there. Big old char. And then
Boom.
human.
So I'm gonna try to do a couple race changes here as well.
Yeah, go for it.
I can remember the command here. Boom. There we go. So I'm actually multiple races right now, and they can't even tell.
Here we can go like this. So now you are you're Savari.
Yes.
It's a Norn. Can disable it, enable. Another human
Boom.
again. Cool. So yeah, that's standard models.
Cool. Well, thanks for showing us. Again, I think what was really cool is like so the conversations we were having on the forum, while we weren't able to necessarily say like, hey, you know, we're working on this right now, but like the conversation that we were having on the forum with you guys at the time was helping Branden develop this, and kind of the feedback you guys were giving was helping us, you know, shape the feature.
It was definitely a huge help as we tried to figure out what was best and what would essentially address the needs of the community as a whole as best we could.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned before, like the first iteration of it was like larger character models, right? Which didn't really work. Like, remember the Asuras running around? Like, I felt like the Marshmallow Man from like Ghostbusters, like the huge thing. Like everything looked really weird. So we had that, and then we came on the standard models. But then we had we thought maybe we'd leave legendaries in, so you could kind of show off your prestige. But then some feedback we found on the forums, players felt that the animations were, you know, it wasn't addressing the animation problem. So we factored that in too. So again, thanks to you guys for helping us figure this out. It's been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing the feature in game.
Me too. It'll definitely help out in Team Arenas for sure.
Indeed. All right, cool. So we've got one more little segment for you guys today. We've got Mr. Karl coming on. He's going to be showing us the changes to the Mesmer and Elementalist professions, and it's very highly anticipated.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut over to that now. Enjoy.
Welcome back to the Skill Bar, everyone. My name's Karl McLean, and today we're going to be covering the Mesmer and the Elementalist. First off, we'll start with talking about the Mesmer. We're going to cover traits first here, so let's hop right on in. Triumphant Distortion. This dueling trait previously granted distortion to the Mesmer when you attained a kill. In addition to this effect, you will also now receive 1 second of distortion on all of your phantasms that are summoned. Illusionary Elasticity. Your clones that use Winds of Chaos will now be affected by this trait. Maim the Disillusioned. We've increased the amount of torment inflicted from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. Now let's go talk about some weapon skills. Illusionary Leap. We've changed the way that this clone is summoned, so that it's now going to summon on your target's position instead of at your position, meaning that you'll have a much faster response time between illusionary leaps and illusionary swaps. Illusionary Warden. We fixed a bug with this phantasm that caused it to fail its attacks occasionally when he was attached to a melee enemy. Mind Stab. The damage of this ability has been increased by 17%, and its radius has been increased to 240. So with the Mesmer's Scepter, we wanted it to take more of a condition role. And in order to do that, we feel like the auto attack needs to have some sort of a condition attached to it, so that the clones can have their own condition application. As such, we've reworked some of the Scepter's abilities, and they will now apply Torment on each strike. So, Ether Bolt will now apply 2 seconds of Torment on each attack. Ether Blast will apply 4 seconds of Torment. Ether Clone will create clones that deal 2 seconds of Torment on their base attacks. Mantra of Pain. So with the defensive mantras, we like that they have an AoE nature to them. And so we would like to extend this out into the offensive mantras as well. With that, Mantra of Pain Power Spike is being increased to a 5-target, 240 radius area effect attack. Similarly, Mantra of Distraction's Power Lock is going to be able to hit 5 targets at a 180 radius attack. Last but not least, Mimic. We felt that this ability was a little bit too difficult to use in most circumstances, so we reworked it a bit, and now it's going to copy all boons and their durations from an enemy you target, making for pretty good combos with Null Field or Arcane Thievery. And now on to the Elementalist. Let's start off with traits. Blinding Ashes. This trait has been modified slightly so that it will now apply blinding to all enemies struck by skills that burn in an area. Next up is Lightning Rod. This trait now triggers on any form of a disable rather than only when you interrupt an enemy, meaning that things like your Earthquake or your Static Field will always activate this trait. Last up is Elemental Contingency. Previously, this trait was very much hindered by its cooldown, being that it shared the same cooldown for all attunements. Now, each attunement will have its own separate cooldown, meaning that Earth will be separate from water, which is separate from air, and so forth. Now let's talk about some of the balanced 2 Elementalist elite skills. Tornado and Whirlpool previously would increase your power levels massively when you entered them, meaning that any lingering spells you had outside would deal bonus damage. We felt like this was a little bit unfair and really hard to read, so we've changed the power scales of these elite transforms so that they will no longer increase spell effects that you have outside of there. The damage of each skill for Tornado has been normalized so that you'll do at the same or more damage when this change rolls through. Fiery Greatsword's Fiery Rush has been reworked. We wanted to take the damage from the trail portion into the actual ending skill, where you actually swing your sword. So we've reduced the damage from the trail by about 70%, while increasing the damage of your ending strike by about 140%. Overall, you'll see much less damage on the trail, and a lot more damage on the ending strike. Along with these changes, Fiery Rush, Burning Speed, and Burning Retreat will no longer be able to create multiple fields on top of one another when rolling against a wall. Glyph of Lesser Elementals and Glyph of Elementals now have secondary abilities that you can activate. When pressed, the Elementals will activate these skills on their next skill usage. This allows you to have just a little bit more control when using these Elementals. Glyph of Storms. We wanted this glyph to have more of a condition feel to it, so we've added conditions to both the fire and air versions of the ability. Firestorm will now apply 1 second of burning on each target it hits, and Airstorm will apply 2 stacks of vulnerability for 8 seconds on each target it hits. As you can see here, vulnerability can stack up really high really fast. Signet of Earth now applies 5 stacks of bleeding for 7 seconds when used. Signet of Fire has had its base damage increased by 100%. Signet of Water has had its recharge reduced to 25 seconds. Likewise, Signet of Air has had its recharge reduced to 25 seconds. Lastly, Vapor Form has had a visual update to indicate the difference between itself and Mist Form. The reasoning for this is that Mist Form is completely immune to crowd controls, whereas Vapor Form can actually be struck with them. Alright everyone, that's it for this week's Skill Bar. Be sure to join us next time for the Guardian and the Necromancer. See you soon.
Alright guys, so hopefully you enjoyed the preview there that Karl put together, Karl and Mark put together for the Elementalist and Mesmer. As a note, we will be doing another episode next Friday that will show off our final 2 professions. I know
Pretty exciting stuff.
I know people are pretty excited to see what's coming down the pike, so we wanted to make sure that we could do it as soon as possible. And again, to help out with the Tournament of Glory, people, having the information they need to sign up, making sure that their comp will work and whatnot. So make sure you join us here next Friday. At the same time, we'll be showing off the other professions. Again, make sure to follow us on Twitch. So right here, we're going to be showing off Tournament of Legends 2 this weekend. That'll be Blue and Jebro, and Searf will be hosting that for us, so pretty exciting stuff there. I think that's all we got.
Basically it, yeah.
That is basically it. So again, thanks to Mr. Branden G. He's one of our gameplay programmers on the competitive team, and he's the one who put together the model standardization, or standard models feature that we're all pretty excited about. So, thank you, sir.
Yeah, just happy to be in here.